on my mind. Could you see so my mind don't erupt? At times I feel I can't get enough, but I sip a double.
Well, good evening, folks. How are we doing tonight in the great lands of streaming lands? Welcome to the MCU'S Bleeding Edge tonight. We are live Friday night, February 16th, to discuss the 1974 classic, the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. We just said Texas and Texas Chainsaw. Oh, gotta take a drink.
It's amazing how the drinks were going to compile pretty quick off that.
I can see this being a really good drinking game tonight. Anyways, folks, so like I said, welcome to the show. And we are going to be doing, like I said, the Texas Chainsaw Massacre from 1974. Oh, shit.
Jesus, Cyber. The fuck? At least let me, get into the drink a little bit, man.
Anywho, guys, so we'll be discussing this film tonight. Of course, directed by Tobe Hooper, and was released in 1974. And this is considered probably, one of the greatest horror films of all time. A lot of people love this film. A lot of people always talk about this film being one of the greatest horror films, along with Halloween and Psycho and stuff like that, considered historical, horror landmarks, basically. And, that kind of brings me to my first question to kind of get it started off, sir, is when was your first time watching this film? Was it tonight? Was it before this? How many times have you seen it? Kind of what is your first interaction with this film?
Very difficult to try to, just, when you take into consideration that I've been drinking, pretty much full blown, already have my own personal drinking game through life, right? For a very long time. Along with, experimentation with, things with Tyrone Biggins and things like that during different patches. At that point, my memory's a little faded with certain things, but I'd have to imagine that I saw this probably when I was a teenager, maybe around age 15 or 16 years old. So for the first time around age, like I said, about 15, probably 16. And honestly, I thought it was scary. But just like watching it now, I found it hard to kind of lock in at times and whatnot, because some of the dialogue-y parts are a little bit, I don't know if I don't want to say boring, but can kind of, they're not all that entertaining, I guess. But I probably watched it all together, including today, 3 times probably total in my life.
Okay. This is my second viewing of it today. I've only watched it one other time, and my first time was only a couple years ago or so. I think it was actually last year. Actually, was the first time I watched this. It was never huge on my radar because I had seen so many documentaries on horror films and so forth and stuff like that showed a lot of images from this film. So I kind of have seen it over the last 30 years, several sequences of this film. So it was kind of like I had watched it already, but I never fully watched the whole film. Now, this film is actually really short for a horror film at an hour and 23 minutes back in 1974. And I thought, for that time period, I felt this was kind of short because I feel a lot of those films were, a little closer to 2 hours most of the time. So I was really shocked at how short this film was. And this film definitely, gets all the allocates. A lot of people think it's the, great acting, great writing, great directing by Tobe Hooper and all that kind of stuff. And, like I said, it's kind of one of those films that, gets all the hoopla for how great a film is. Now, myself, watching this as an adult, I guess, maybe it might have had a different effect on me if I was younger. But at the same time, even when I was younger, I really wasn't scared of horror films, really. I just found them kind of comical. This movie did not scare me at all. I actually kind of laughed myself through this film, like the last 2 times I've watched it. And I've actually found it very kind of comical because, 50 years now, this will be hitting 50 years old this year. It definitely does not hold up to the 50 years it's been around, because I've seen a lot of films that are 50, 60, 70 years old.
Drink
That's magnificent.
That's an authentic comment that is using the word Texas, so we need to drink. So
all right, take a drink. Thank you, Andres. Yeah, freaking time cop. Anyways, people.
Andres was probably an extra on the film.
It probably was.
Like a joint. Like
he was probably the stunt double of the guy in the wheelchair.
You know what? It's possible.
Possible. Anyways, so I think it's kind of funny how this film, you're not fucking Batlord.
Fucking Batlord.
You're goddamn not Batlord. Never. You're never Batlord. Anyways, that Batlord messed up my thought process there for a second. But anyways, so I think that how the film starts off with them trying to make it where it's based off of a true story, I think is really funny, because the film itself, like the whole actual concept, is loosely based on a real story, but the actual story itself is not a real incident that happened. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm sure in areas of, deep south or even Texas. Oh, drink.
Good job. Right, I'm trying to eat cheese too.
I'm sure that kind of stuff probably happened there. I'm sure there's probably, people that were crazy like this and so forth, back, years and years ago that might have done this kind of stuff. But the real story behind this is actually loosely based on Ed Gaines. And now, Ed Gaines, of course, was a serial killer back in the 50s who would take his victim's skin and turn it into different types of articles of furniture, clothing, and so forth. He would wear it and stuff like that. And basically, Ed Gaines has really been the influence for a lot of, film characters. And that includes Leatherface himself, along with even Silence of the Lambs character, Buffalo Bill, and so forth. So he's been really kind of like a huge influence on a lot of horror films, since his kind of incarceration back in the 60s. And, Ed Gaines, if you ever get a chance to do some research on him, it's actually a really interesting story about this individual and just kind of like what he went through and everything, and kind of like, what he did and like how he did it very, at this time, nobody was going around looking to see if people were missing and stuff like that. Like if somebody went missing, they just went missing. A lot of people didn't really care. So, back in this time frame, it was really easy to get away with murder if you think about it. So I mean, really, it's kind of like it was a coincidence that he got caught, actually, because he probably could have went on years and years doing this even more than he did. But yeah, Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Oh, drink. Definitely has a heavy influence from the based on true story of Ed Gaines. Now, before you looked up this article, Jeff, did you realize that this film was, based on Ed Gaines' story?
I don't believe so, no. But it makes sense.
Yep. Leatherface, who is beautifully played by Gunnar Hansen in the original film. He was probably my favorite part of the film, because his portrayal of I think Leatherface himself, I think really was a great role. Simply the fact that he really had no lines, everything had to be expressed and had to be done And no, you're not one of his victims in the films. No. Yeah, there was no dwarfs in the fucking movie, sir. Anyways, or gnomes, a gnome. Anyways, so coming out in 1974, when this originally got released, this movie actually was a box office bomb. This movie was made for between $80,000 to $140,000 back in 1974, and it only made 30.9 in theaters. So, I mean, that's pretty low considering, it having not a huge ass budget, because if you look at it, you could definitely tell it didn't have a huge budget. It was really surprising that this didn't make more than it did back then in 1974. But at the same time, you think about it, horror movies weren't super popular in 1974 as they were a few years later. Because even when Psycho came out in 1960, it wasn't, it was considered kind of a box office bomb a little bit until years later when it started getting traction. So same thing kind of going on with Texas Chainsaw Massacre here. It definitely was one of those films that gained traction as the years went on. So this film stars, of course, Marilyn Burns, Paul A. Harton, Edwin Neal, Jim Sadawa, and then Gunnar Hansen, of course, as Leatherface. All these actors and actresses that were in this film, I'm sorry, I didn't think they were that great of actors and actresses. I didn't think they were anything special at all. And I think they could have gotten themselves a few better actors and actresses for this film and might have made the film a little more popular, a little better.
If Tom had been there, they would have grabbed him as an extra and put him in the lead role.
Probably. Because these people, they were just, I felt they were so horrible. They were absolutely horrible. What are your thoughts on the actors, Jeff?
Fucking terrible. From jump, the fucking the handicapped brother or whatever, whatnot, and everything. I had the character list pulled up in here and whatnot, but from jump, he goes out to take his piss and stumbles down that fucking cliff and all this shit, whatnot, everything. Like that shit did not look real at all.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you know what I'm saying? Like that was so stupid. What that drunk even did to make that happen, I have no idea. Like I'm still trying to figure it out. Like 3 times watching this shit, I still don't grasp what that drunk did. Like what came off of it. I don't know if that was White Vision's penis's like nut or something like that. Flew off and like ejected him from his chair. But
could have been.
How you could be like paraplegic and shit and whatnot and roll with a fucking fall like that and just be like, all chill and shit. And then later on get all fucking like gashed up, like where you'd have to like, you could bleed out and die, but you just put some duct tape on it and you're fine. Yeah, man. I don't know. And the women too. The chick's got the hook stuck in her at one point and whatnot. And she's just like, she's like moaning and everything and whatnot, but it's like moans that would happen if Time Cop was hitting it. You know what I'm saying? It's not like,
Yep.
I've got a fucking hook stuck in the back of my fucking back or whatever, whatnot. I'm hanging by my goddamn, you know what I'm saying? I'd be fucking screaming and
like,
shit.
That's like masochism there, kind of deal going on.
Hey,
Goslin.
Can you imagine? I mean, seriously. I'm adding a rule right now that this right here is worth a drink because I had already stated that I bagged a chick from Texas.
Yep.
There you go. So good job, Jocelyn. Way to contribute to the drinking game, my friend. But no, the acting was not exactly at Chloe Zhao Oscar contending level.
Agreed. And that was like one of the things that really annoyed me about this movie the most, or irritated me, I should say, was the screaming of the main chick throughout the whole entire film towards the end there. Like, I swear the last like 25 minutes, 30 minutes of the film, all she does is scream, and it just gets on your nerves, and you're just like, shut up. Like, seriously, like she just became so damn irritating, which was absolutely hilarious. And I just remember thinking to myself, like no wonder the poor gal went, hoarse after filming this. Because like if you watch any of the behind the scenes about this and that main actress there, Marilyn Burns, she by the end of filming this, her voice was so hoarse and like so damaged that she had to like not talk for like several months to repair with all the screaming that she did. It was kind of an interesting story. You can actually look it up and stuff like that. But I was like, yeah, I mean, I'm sure a lot of people were happy when you weren't screaming and not saying anything, because it just was, whew, that scream. Wow, so irritating. But shout out to Jocelyn in the comments. Shout out to Time Cop in the comments. Thank you for commenting, people. And they might already been in a porno before this film, because they kind of acted like they were in a porno here. I feel
That me too.
70s porn.
That's what I'm saying. This I had that vibe during the movie. I'm like, is this what 70s porn was like? We would like go to the fucking theater, remember, to jack with like other dudes or some shit. Like this is what you were working with.
Yep.
The horror is great, but like, the acting part though, like I said, the scenes of dialogue, the opening scene is great. The music for this time period, I thought was really like riveting. Not to try to jump the shark here, but there's some really great, cinematography considering the budget in this film. I think for the 1970s, I'm sure we'll get into that. But either way, I don't want to over talk the acting that badly and detract away from how quality of a horror film I think this is.
Gotcha. Yeah, so basically the Texas Chainsaw Massacre starts off. Oh, drink. We're introduced to these college kids. They're traveling. And, of course, we get that piss in a bucket scene, or coffee can, whatever you want to call it. And then he rolls down the hill. And then they pick up that crazy hitchhiker guy.
Oh, God.
And then the next 10, 15 minutes is them dealing with this guy in their van. And he's like doing all kinds of crazy shit, taking pictures, stabbing himself and stuff like that. And I'm like any sane person to me, I feel would be like, as soon as he started acting
the
weird,
whole time, like nothing's going on. The one dude's just like, they're like,
you might want to get rid of him. He doesn't look right, people. After that, short little ride, of course, he eventually goes really crazy and stabs the guy in the wheelchair, and then they throw him out finally and start making their way. And you just kind of like after the guy in the wheelchair kind of gets stabbed, you're kind of like, and how he acts, you're just like, dude, that knife looked duller than dull. Like that didn't even look like it hurt.
He fucking got him though, man.
Yeah, all that fake blood was hilarious, I thought, in that sequence, because it was just so thick and red, or like a red color that blood wouldn't be. It just kind of like, wow, they really went to town with this.
That's how it's terrific, because you're like, holy fuck, if somebody gouged me like that, I'd be fucked up.
And it just looked, to me, it looked super fake. It looked so fake. It did not look realistic at all to me. And so I was laughing at the sequence, unfortunately, because I found it like poorly acted. And I'm thinking to myself, like, what's going on here? Like, what the hell is this supposed to be? And then as they proceed afterwards, they're like, and you're like, and I'm just like thinking, what, is there somebody in the background like telling them to act like they're retarded or something? Because like seriously, it's like, what's going on here? And so when they finally get to the diner place, good to know, Jocelyn. They get to that diner place, and they're in this like hick town of Texas. Oh, drink time. And drink, sir.
Sorry, Josh got me fucked up over here with my drinking game shit. I'm gonna drink twice just because for a party foul.
Okay. And like, they're trying to get gas, and they say, yeah, we're out of gas, and you're a gas station, and you're just kind of like, huh? And they're like, oh, you gotta wait till this. You should come in and have the diner food and stuff like that. And that's not suspicious at all. Not at all, you know. So we'll stop right there at that when they get to the diner. So what are your thoughts kind of on that beginning part of the film, sir, leading up to them getting to that diner to get fuel? What were your thoughts, you know, on that craziness of that all ensued right there at the beginning?
I think they had bong time with Joss or some shit, potentially. You know what I'm saying? The comment section or whatever, whatnot. Because, like you said, I mean, I watched the extended version, which is only like, what, 8 minutes longer, I think, or whatever, whatnot. But that's what I watched today. The intro where they have all the radio, you know, broadcast, whatnot, and all that kind of stuff and whatnot is interesting. With the pictures and all the imagery and whatnot and all that, it's actually very artistically well done, I think. What occurs afterwards, though, is not all that artistically well done in terms of, like, again, who the fuck would pick up that dude? He's got some weird scar on his face and shit and whatnot, right? Which every time I watch this movie, every time I'm like, is there something on my TV? Like, they picked up this dude? Seriously? Who I would never pick that dude up ever. Like, they're already not. They already don't even. They're like on vacation or whatever. What the fuck they're doing? Anyway, why are you picking up random dudes? Now I know this is the 70s, but like seriously. Either way, how anybody could be so tolerant but have some crazy ass motherfucker in their van like that, I have no idea. The driver's like oblivious. He's driving, right? You think that'd be the person that would be the most hip to what the fuck is going on out of everybody. He's just like whistling dissy and shit, whatnot, right? Like watching the MCU'S Bleeding Edge and shit, whatnot on YouTube before it was ever didn't exist. Because he's, you know, friends with Time Cop. So,
Wow.
you know, they got hooked up. So basically, he's tuned out and just watching our shit. Like, nobody seems to even give a shit. This dude is like crazy as fuck. Like, you know, it has like written fucking like pictures, like, you know, as artifacts of his work and pictures of his work at the slaughterhouse and all this shit and whatnot. They talk about the stupid air gun that kills the fucking cows or whatever, whatnot, or pigs and shit for like 15 minutes at one point. That's all the handicap dude wants to talk about the whole time. Is that concept. I'm like, dude, seriously? Like, we get it. Right? Like, I get the gist. You find that shit interesting. Like, I found it interesting too for the first minute that I heard about it. Then I moved on. Right? Like, so in terms of the pacing of the film, this part does not help. Right? Like, in our generation of shit, with the way things are, kids would not hang in here in this movie long enough for the good shit to even happen. They just dip. They be out, Cyber, because like you said, like you already said, sir, the acting is skin and max level below that acting. Hence the budget.
Yeah, that budget, if you think about it, at that time was not enough to get an A-list actor at that time. So I think that's kind of why they went with these like really kind of nobodies at the time. I mean, Marilyn Burns, who plays the main actress that survives, I mean, she went on to do other things, but these other actors and actresses, they really didn't do much except for Gunnar Hansen. And so it's kind of like funny, like, you know, seeing their one-time kind of like big budget like type of film, and you're just kind of like, and that's the best you could do.
The guy that did the narration said he did it for a joint.
Oh, did he? That's good to know. Good to know, folks. Right there, for a joint. For a joint. Just like in Texas. Oh, drink time.
I don't know about all that, but I've never been to Texas.
Oh, second drink. I know somebody from Texas. Oh, third drink.
I know several. Raymond's from. I'm not gonna say it.
There you go, folks. Trigger game, beautifulness. All right. Excellent. Yeah. So, yeah. I mean, the pacing is so horrible in this film. And if I remember correctly, in some of the documentaries I've noticed, They were mentioning how this film was really troubled while they were filming it. They had a lot of issues that kept them from getting it done properly and stuff like that. And I think a lot of the editing issues or the spacing issues in the film are because the story actually was longer and they condensed a lot more to get it done faster. So I think there was a lot of edits to get it down to what it is, and I think kind of that's one of the reasons why the pacing issues kind of crap. Because I think that if I remember correctly, they filmed a lot more than what they ended up putting into the actual theatrical film.
Well, yeah, because if they had issues, just because of the time period, the reception was mixed. With controversy, including bans and theater withdrawals and shit like that, right? So, just even to get the film out, they probably had to cut a lot off the fat, the meat.
Yeah, because I believe at the time too, because NC-17 was around. Some of the first edits, I believe, got this film in X, so they had to cut a lot of things to get it down to
the X days.
Yeah, this was in the X days, because NC-17 didn't come around to the 90s, so I think it was 1990, if I remember correctly, that they finally instituted NC-17. So
NC-17 instituted right around the same time that Bruce Willis film came out, where his penis was. You saw his penis?
Oh, Color Night.
Yeah,
that was 94. So yeah, I mean, it was shortly before that came out that film was.
I watched that film several times, more than I watched it. The Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Drink.
I'm sure you have.
It was not because of Bruce Willis' penis. I promise.
Yeah, yes, we all. Yeah, I figured as much. I didn't think you were looking for his member.
Only white vision, sir.
Yeah, only white vision.
MCU, baby. Whatever it takes.
Whatever it takes, folks. Yeah. Whatever it takes.
Get down by She-Hulk. Whatever. Let's do it.
Woohoo.
I'll see She-Hulk take on Leatherface. That'd be a nice duel.
That would be an interesting duel. Very much so.
No, but Leatherface is a better actor than any of the people in this part of the film.
Yeah, like I said, Gunnar Hansen, I think, was probably one of the best parts of this film. Is his interpretation of Leatherface was really done well, and comparing him to some of the newer versions, which I think majority of people have done Leatherface a really great job, I think, but definitely Gunnar Hansen being the first one to do it, I think his is probably the epitome of it because he kind of set the tone for how the other guys did the character. So I'm really impressed with that at the same time. So yeah, Gunnar Hansen definitely, I think, was my most favorite of them all.
I've watched other adaptations. They do follow closely to exactly his version.
Yep. Let's see here. Actually, it's actually considered very highly profitable, the film, because it grossed over 30 million at the box office, which would be equivalent to today's standard would be like 150 million. And it sold 16.5 million tickets in 74. So that's pretty impressive for a horror film. But yeah, like I said, the MPA, back in that time, don't forget, in the 70s too, you could get away with a lot more with a PG film too at the time as well. And I mean, look at Jaws. That beginning sequence in Jaws. I mean, I'm still think to this day, I'm like, wow, I can't believe that's only PG. They actually were trying to get a PG rating for this at the time because PG was kind of considered PG-13 still at that time, even close to an R at that time. And because of the gore is the reason why it ended up getting the R rating at that time. Otherwise, if they had not put so much gore in it, it actually would have gotten a PG rating at the time, which I find surprising for this type of film.
It's it's an interesting contrast to where we're at now, right? And what the metrics are for these ratings now. They've really flip-flopped in terms of what's considered an issue versus what was then. So I think that I'm not any type of cinematic historian like you sort of are, Cyber. I don't have the movie depth of experience as far as the ones I've watched that you do, but I know enough to know that this film changed horror as a genre, right? And so for that, it's to do it. You have to kind of, I think when you review this film, you have to kind of like take that into consideration. At least, I think that you would, right? I did. That this sets some kind of standard. I maybe I don't completely understand it, but it did in terms of what you could do. Again, I wasn't alive in 1974, unlike Time Lord Andres. I can't time slip or time time travel, whatever, whatnot. I have not been conceived yet.
There you go, folks. He was not conceived yet, people.
Nope.
All right, so this film was primarily filmed in Round Rock, Texas. Oh, Greek.
Round Rock. That must be the spot.
It must be. And I guess at the time when they were filming, the temperature was peaking at 110 Fahrenheit because they were filming this in July. So they were working in very harsh conditions. And even Gunnar Hansen even said, that, with the costume on, he was basically like topping out temperature-wise in the costume, like 130 degrees. So,
maybe that's not with the acting. It was dehydration.
Could have been. And they were filming for 12 to 16 hours a day. So that's pretty crazy. For those that didn't know, they mainly shot with an Eclair NPR 16 millimeter camera, which at the time was a fine grain load speed commercial film that required considerable more light than modern digital cameras do these days. So I think that's kind of interesting that they used a kind of a high tech, filming for this day. So
yeah,
that's kind of interesting.
No, that is interesting. I mean, I don't know if that has anything to do with, as I mentioned, again, not having the knowledge necessarily. I'd have to believe that this type of cinematography that you see in the film is there. There's some great shots, right? Especially when it does get down to like the violence and whatnot and all that and everything, and the gore. It's well shot for the most part. It's just how it's acted and portrayed that the issue is and whatnot, that where it's kind of laughable at times.
Yep. Yeah, so there's some interesting factoids for you people. But yeah, basically from there, we get to the meat of the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Kind of, we start to get drink. Of course, you're hitting your pipe. Jesus fucking Christ. Anyways, so after they go to the diner, they have their weird encounter there, and basically they end up running out of gas at some point. You okay over there?
Yeah, I'm good.
And they end up getting stranded. So some of them try to go, look for help, and that's when they stumble across the lone house where the massacres are taking place. And basically from there, they one by one they kind of start disappearing, getting taken out by Leatherface and his family. And the prosthetics and everything for this film were so poorly made for the time, I feel, because I feel like movies prior to this had better like practical effects than this film did. They just didn't have the money. And even with this film having such kind of crappy looking aesthetics for their villains, they still went over budget somehow on this film. I don't know how they went over budget. Must have been location or something or what. But I think that's absolutely hilarious that these looks that were considered top of line for their time look at them now, I feel they just look like those 70s kids costumes that you get that have that little string in the back that just broke after putting it on once. Holy shit. That's how bad these look. And I just crack up. And, for the time, going with the practical effects and stuff, practical effects has always been the greatest. Oh, that's right. And so, at the time, I'm sure they were considered top of the line.
Drake, sir.
74. Drake?
No, I'm tripping face. The drinking game's already fucking me up, so I forgot that we're off time now.
Oh, yeah, we're doing Texas, sir. Now drink.
Jesus Christ. Party foul. Party foul and Texas.
And so, yeah, well, they're not for everyone, Mr. Raymond. Unfortunately, I don't find this movie as great as everyone else does. And so I think that, for its time, like I was saying, I feel that they were good for their time, most definitely. But looking at it now, looking at a lot of movies around that time frame and around even earlier than that, the practical effects were far superior than this film. So I don't think this film physical effects aren't as great as some of the previous films that have been around even longer than this. And so, I think that at the time they might have been considered top line, but looking at them now, they kind of look like they weren't that great for their time either. So, because I've seen some films from 1974 that are, going to be turning 50 this year, that the practical effects were so far superior. But I think it all has to do a lot with the budget. The budget on this film just was so crappy that I think if they had more money, bigger producers, I feel this movie could have been so much better. I'm not saying Tobe Hooper did a horrible job, but I think he did great with what he had at that time. So once they basically get to, and so like I said, they start to get taken out one by one by Leatherface and his family, and we kind of go back and forth between the house and the van because the guy in the wheelchair and the one blonde girl is still at the van at this point. And like as time goes on, one by one they start leaving the van to find the other.
The chick that got hooked has already happened now at this point.
Yeah,
she's hanging out there, like still making those little bitch moans or whatnot. Everything with a hook up in her ass.
Yep. And so as we go along, we get down to just them two left at the van, and we have quite a few we have pretty much 20 minutes, I feel, of them at the van arguing about stupid shit. And eventually they start to make what?
I don't know what, I wasn't even sure what that was even about. That part of the movie. Yeah. I'm like, what the fuck is it even about?
And basically, eventually, she decides that she's gonna go look for the others. The guy in the wheelchair tries to go after him, and he ends up getting caught and killed by the family before she does. So
good riddance.
Yeah. So anyway, so what did you think about that portion of the film? Kind of each of them kind of leaving, getting to the house and being taken care of, being killed. And basically kind of that whole sequence where it's just the two of them in the van before he gets killed and she starts to make her way towards the house. What were your thoughts kind of on that section of the film, sir?
Well, why they're so drawn to this house, I don't get it. Like, you know what I'm saying? They all seem to find their way to the fucking house, no matter what. They just want to go right in there too. Like, hey, let me go in here. I don't know, man. Seeing Leatherface for the first time and watching as a kid, this was the first film I'd ever seen where I'd seen a human being put up on a hook like that to go, bring that back up again. I don't think I'd ever seen that before. I've seen it in several different films now, right? including the remakes of this this film, which I do enjoy more than this film. I'll be honest with you. The remake,
2003 remake is so good.
Yeah, it looks better. The acting's better. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's not as all over the fucking place. You don't have these conversations that make no sense. They just go to the house or get snatched up type shit. Or the screaming crazy shit, where you're just getting chased by Leatherface constantly. Basically, yeah, that's true, Raven. And we'll drink off.
You said Texas. Drink.
Yeah. I mentioned you earlier, sir, in your locale. No, so Cyber, honestly, besides the introduction of Leatherface in this part of the film and what he adds to the whole storyline and the whole flow of the film, his impact, it's the only real highlight for me that I could elicit from the movie. I've ever elicited from it anytime I've ever watched it. I've never felt connected to any of the other stuff. Like some of the chase scenes where he's chasing certain members of their group make no sense. He's got his chainsaw. He's close to the people, the woman, yet like can't cut her with a chainsaw. I don't get it. Like, why are they so? The one chick. Are we the part where she runs in the house, runs around the whole fucking house 7 times, then runs out the window to get out?
Not yet. That's a little bit later.
That's interesting. I found that very interesting, but no. The premise of the fact that we are at the part where, we already have people being killed. We're seeing the weird shit in the house where they're like still shooting, the sort of dead animal, type deal they have going on, that whole vibe, right? Again, the score I think for this budget and for 1974 is pretty interesting. Sort of new age kind of almost, maybe for that time period, right? Going in maybe a different direction. And it's there. It's just in and out, when they layer in the music and whatnot and everything. But overall, Leatherface just handling this business and whatnot and everything. And then the insertion of the family aspect of it and whatnot is really, that's where the horror part starts to really kick in. Really all the meat of this film really occurs with this buildup in like the last 35 minutes of the movie or whatever, whatnot. That's pretty much it. And then you get other than the screaming and the chick with the hook.
Very true. Yeah, I agree. I mean, I think this section of the film is kind of where they finally starts to pick up a little bit and starts to get a little more like a film, like more like a horror film to me. And this is also the part where it kind of gets definitely interesting at certain points. This is where you get a lot more of the gore and everything. And, at this point, they do a pretty decent job with the gore in these sequences. And I think that they all look pretty decent and fun. And, they're definitely not the, like I said, top caliber, but they were good for their time in 1974. So I think this section right here is kind of where the movie starts to really pull you in and Kari, nice. And gets better and gets more entertaining than that beginning sequence of the film. Where I found pretty much majority of that just boring. So, like I said, this movie does not scare me in the least bit at all. I think even if I watched this when I was 8 or 10, I probably would have been like laughing my ass off because it just did not look scary to me at all.
I was more scared by Shiel's penis, to be honest with you.
I think anybody would be scared by that, especially straight heterosexual male.
It was bigger than Scars.
Oh, jeez, bigger than Scars. God damn. And so,
come on, Cyber, admit that shit was funny as dope. That was the funny shit.
Funny, sir, funny. So yeah, I mean, all in all, I think this was probably a better portion of the film. Now, how do you feel the Texas Chainsaw Massacre? Oh, take a drink. How do you feel this has influenced a lot of the horror films in the last 50 years?
The last 50 years?
Yep.
Oh, it's really low tier. To be honest with you, I grew up to watching like the Freddy Krueger films and Hellraiser. Right, that's what we're going to do. Hellraiser here soon. You know, Jason. And when you watch those films, I think, right? And then that's your sort of like what you're working with horror, right? Then you come across this film afterwards. It's hard to, you know, they're just better movies, right? So it's one of those times, Cyber, where I think that probably upon reflection, as I've gotten older, I maybe can appreciate the more refined aspects of, you know, cinematography and filmmaking and the importance of historical, change with you know, a genre, with a film or whatever, whatnot, or you know, whatever it might be. These are things I wouldn't have understood at 15, 16 years old, probably at all. I can now. So I look at the movie now differently, but it's still boring as shit at times. Honestly, there isn't a ton of stuff that comes out horror wise anymore these days that really gets my attention. Just because I like the Rob Zombie type stuff, right? That's to make it clear. That's more my direction is what this kind of stuff he does. I like that. That's my type of horror. It's always with me. It's always going to be Bleeding Edge style. So you know, it's got to be, you know, that's what this film does something for me. Is that even though it is kind of cheapo, the gore and shit and whatnot, and the scenery of the house the family lives in, the creepy fucking level of like them robbing graveyards and shit and whatnot and everything, right? Like with just to assemble like, you know, dead people in their home and shit and whatnot and everything. It's creepy as fuck, bro, to think about, right? And to contemplate on, which I have before after watching this as a kid. I can remember thinking to myself, holy fuck, this shit is creepy as fuck. Almost as bad as me smiling at Kelly that one night on What If. Right? Almost there, but not quite. That's all I got, sir.
Yeah, I mean, to kind of go off of that, I feel a lot of people would say they consider this a big influence on a lot of horror films. They think that this is one of the granddaddies of them all. And I definitely could see some of the films having some sort of influence from this film and the style that Tobe did it. And I could definitely see some characters kind of being based off of the same character, but it's more off of the actual story that they, you know, kind of inspired Leatherface from. And like going back to like Buffalo Bill from Silence of the Lambs is hugely inspired by Ed Gaines, which, you know, like I said, this film is really is highly inspired by that story, but definitely takes a lot of liberties in changing up the story of what, you know, Ed Gaines really went through. And you know, I think that a lot of it, you know, the influence I feel on horror films over the years, from as such as this one has done, is I think a lot of people, because of how much praise it's gotten, I think that they just automatically feel like that a lot of films are loosely based on the premise of how this was made and how it was done, and they try to do that kind of low budget feel and everything like that. And you know, there are a lot of great low budget horror films that have come out in the last 50 years and so. And, I'm sure just like with any film that has either was popular at its time or became popular over time, definitely has influence over, how people make movies later on. So I can see the directing being very, influenced by this film, but overall, I think a lot of the horror films over the years are their own inspiration versus this being considered like a granddaddy of inspiration for a lot of horror films. So I get it, but at the same time, I feel like there's not as much common ground as a lot of people are thinking. So I think that it definitely has been very influential to a lot of people, a lot of film historians, a lot of people that analyze films, most definitely. But the common just video watcher, I think they would look at it and be like, I could kind of see some resemblance in the directing, but overall, I don't think Texas Chainsaw Massacre, got a drink, really, did influence this in some sort of way.
Oof.
Are you drinking Pepsi with your Bacardi, sir?
Yes, is that okay, sir?
I'm fine with Pepsi. I prefer Pepsi over Coke.
I do too.
I think Coke tastes like shit. Anyways, thank you for being in our comment section, Raymond, even though you're feeling unwell, sir. Great to have you in the comment section. Yes, give yourself a great high five for finding the safe word. Great job, sir. Great job. So just to kind of give people a little insight into what we're talking about, we'd like to share the trailer with you. And we will share that with you, and we'll talk a little bit about this trailer here after we have watched it.
There you go. Sorry about that. Okay, installation off. Trailer engaged.
Was true. This is the movie that is just as real, just as close, just as terrifying as being there. Even if one of them survives, what will be left? The Texas Chainsaw Massacre. After you stop screaming, you'll start talking about it.
We're talking about it right now, bitch. What's up?
Oh, man.
Okay.
Great stuff. Great stuff there, folks.
The floor is yours.
Great stuff there, folks. As you can see there, the trailer definitely shows you the better portion of the film when they get to the house and they start killing everyone off. I mean, on the banging level, sir, what would you consider? Which one would you bang more, the brunette or the blonde?
The brunette.
Okay.
Yeah, the brunette. The fucking blonde is just too irritating, man. Fuck her. You know what I'm saying? And plus, the brunette is a tough bitch, right? I like that. I respect that fucking fighting spirit and shit. Being all hooked up and shit, and just like being like, like, I mean, you know what I'm saying? That's a warrior right there, motherfucker. I like that passion. I need that in my life in the bedroom. So I'm down with her. This other bitch running around screaming and shit, running through windows and shit. I can't have that.
He likes his women to make sounds he enjoys, not just be annoying.
She needs to take a Xanax or two before she fucks me.
Somebody said Texas. We got a drink.
Oh, I missed that. Thank you, Raymond.
And as you were mentioning earlier, sir, yes, the narration of the beginning of the film is actually John Larroquette.
Yeah, that's the guy that got the joint to do it.
Yep, he got marijuana to do it. Who plays Dan Fielding in the Night Court original series, and the Night Court revival. Who is probably him and Marshall Warfield, the last two standing from that show that are still alive. I love John Larroquette, so I always find it funny when I find out that he's the one that narrates the beginning of the film, which is hilarious.
I love marijuana. That's why I smoked this fucking vape, folks. Just to be clear, Bleeding Edge style being when we vape over the Bleeding Edge, we don't vape nicotine. We vape pure THC. What's up, bitch?
There you go, folks. And Raymond, there, it's drink, not drink, sir. Just FYI there. If you want us to drink, you got to say drink, not drank, because drink means that you drank it, sir. Just FYI.
For real, you don't have an accent, Raymond?
Yeah, y'all. Anyways, so yeah, great little trailer there. I mean, it really shows you some of the better parts of the film, like I said, and really gets you like wanting to see the movie because they pick some of the better portions there that are worth watching, and definitely very, very Ed Gein like promotion there in that trailer too, as well, when they show like all the skulls and stuff like that, and stuff like that, and that old guy with the face on and stuff like that, which is really
funny. No, it cyber pardon me, but it does it creates sort of a background, right, that is really eerie. You know, it's very, you know, like when you watch horror movies from the genre that I grew up in, you don't see stuff like that really, right? Like that's psychological almost level, like, you know, type horror to some degree with that stuff. You don't get that when you're young.
Yep. Oh, Raymond just said Texas. Got to drink again.
Yeah, well, guess what, Raymond? Between me and you, I never lived in Texas or ever been there. But I'm the only dude between me and you that's had a chick from Texas give me a blowjob during a show, baby. So what's up? Now drink twice for myself and once for you, Cyber.
All right. I feel that this drinking game, folks, this time around is a little more successful than our first one. So we're really starting to drink ourselves here. So great job, people.
It's a team effort.
Team effort, folks. Team effort. All right.
I could be wrong though with Raymond, though. I don't know. He won't let me record with his wife, so I can't feel her out. Just to be clear, Raymond. Touche, brah. And I mastered 3 fucking beers the other night too. So what's up now? How about that?
There you go, Raymond. There you go. Got him going. Oh, geez.
What? I'm adding more fucking like passion and energy and shit and whatnot than them fucking idiots in the goddamn movie. The fuck?
That is true. That is true. All right, folks. So basically, the rest of the movie is pretty much the conclusion of the film. And basically, the next 25 minutes is just the blonde Marilyn Burns screaming, basically, while trying not to be killed by, the retarded Three Stooges. And, these guys that they picked to play these redneck characters or these degenerates, they just were so bad. I mean, so bad. I think they could have done so much better and bring it even more. And supercalifragilisticexpialidocious. Oh, god damn it. Twice drink, Jeff.
Okay.
And so yeah, I feel that they could have gotten some people that were a little better at acting for those roles. But yeah, basically we kind of see them kind of torturing and messing with her, about to try to kill her and stuff like that. And she is able to escape somehow. As she escapes, she starts to run around the house 7 times, running back and forth from Leatherface into these guys. And eventually she runs enough to where she is able to fly out a window. And the edit on the film, if you notice, all of a sudden you see her running towards the window, and then the person crashing through the window is completely not her. Is a different stunt double that did not look anything like
That
her.
was Brie Larson's butt double.
Probably. And then all of a sudden it's her again outside of the house, and she's running, basically running away, finally getting out of there. And we have, Leatherface, running after her with his chainsaw. And eventually we get she's able to run away and gets into a passerby a car or a truck, gets in the back, starts running away, and he's still trying to run after her to get her. And we see him all of a sudden just start dancing around with his freaking chainsaw, and then the movie ends. So, what did you think about that portion of the film, sir? Her running around the house a billion times, the eventual escape, getting away from them, laughing hysterically, Leatherface doing his chainsaw dance and all that kind of stuff. What did you think about that?
It was all really like high level, brother. What can I say? We're talking like, again, Chloe Zhao, Academy Award winning shit here, right? Like literally at that level, without there being like some hand from fucking a celestial sticking out of the ocean at the end of the movie. That's the only difference. That's it. Other than that, and the drinking game, really all I have to say is, okay, USA, is for some of it, but most of it is not okay, USA. You know what I'm saying? It's the chick that runs in the house, runs through every fucking room in the house, and then jumps out the window to leave. Then still gets caught up anyway. That was some interesting shit, bro. Seriously. I mean, I was like tweaking out there for a minute. I'm like, what is going on here? How is Leatherface not getting your ass? Like, you should be dead already. Is he like out of shape? Or whatever, whatnot. Like, he's been chasing so many bitches, whatever, whatnot, and shit with his his chainsaw that he's getting winded quicker. He's out of practice. Because he's like literally 2 feet away from her at times, and he cannot get her ass. I don't get that shit. So that's the confounding aspect of the film. Shit like that. It's like the horror's good, but dude, Leatherface is a beast. I'm sure he has the motivation to kill and shit and whatnot, to push through and not have to be chasing fucking some whiny, screaming, fucking broad, right? Around the house and shit and whatnot. And plus, even in 1974, like, you can't just have a house like that or whatever and whatnot, where you got dead people and shit and whatnot. Everyone in your family's a cannibal and all this shit. And you're attracting every, random fucking car that comes down the road to your house. This shit would not be realistically able to happen. It makes no sense. So, really, I mean, are we going to the end of the movie?
Yeah.
The ending of the movie is sort of anticlimactic, in all honesty, to me. The only aspect of the final part of the film that we're talking about is the parts that are horrific to me, that I found interesting. I always will find interesting, just because of, again, how it's shot, the score, the cinematography, the different angles they use, when they do, zoom in, what they zoom in on. I find some of that creative. The creative aspect of some of it is there. Obviously, there were people on the team in the production of this film that, even on this tiny budget, were capable. I mean, like you said, they had equipment that was like top notch, right, to shoot with. So, again, if they could have just literally potentially maybe had another $300,000 to get better actors and actresses, it could have been a better overall film, and the ending could have been better. But the one chick just screaming and shit the whole fucking for like the last 40 minutes straight. Come on now. I'm sorry, but it just doesn't work for me. Leatherface works. That chick gets the fucking Daddy Award tonight. without question. The Danny Award is being, whatever the actress' name is, her and the character are getting the Danny. There you go, Raymond. The Danny Award goes to that bitch.
Goes to Marilyn Burns.
Marilyn Burns, you've been Danny, bitch. Drink now.
Awesome. Yeah,
she's drinking somewhere. She's watching the movie drinking right now. She's like, "Oh fuck, I'm terrible."
Definitely, the ending is very anticlimactic. I mean, she basically gets away, which is good, but at the same time, it's kind of like, like it could have been so much more. And like you were saying, the screaming the whole end of the film just does not do anything for the film.
They're going to kill me. I told them to send me a video holding an object and start nodding.
Anything is a dildo when you really put your mind to it. There's no such thing as too large or too sharp. Every time you stop to question yourself, I want you to tell yourself, I can and I will.
Throwback video clip, Cyber.
Okay. It would have been nice to finish my sentence before you did that.
That was the point, sir, to fuck you up.
Well, thank you, sir. That's so kind of you. So yeah, I mean, pretty much anticlimactic, an okay ending, nothing great, very annoying screaming throughout the whole entire conclusion, and overall, okay ending. So, what would you give this as a rating?
I would give it definitely not as high as that big ass water bottle or whatever the fuck that was that one chick was gonna do whatever with. More on the lines of probably on a 1 through 5. I give it.
We're not doing 1 through 5s. 1
through 10. 1 through 10. 1 through 10. I'll give the film a 6 white vision penises.
Well, you're generous there, because I would give it a 2, only because of Gunnar Hansen.
Damn, Cyber, what is that? Like you dropped like what 3 2s in like the last month?
Yep. And so yeah, I mean, yeah, I definitely would give this a 2. For me, entertainment wise, the only thing that really I liked throughout this whole entire film was Gunnar Hansen's portrayal of Leatherface, and I think that he did the best job out of all the actors in this film. He just was Leatherface, and he truly was the star of the film. But yeah, so yeah, folks, that's our Texas Chainsaw review. Oh, Texas Drake. So we thought we switch things and talk a little Marvel talk, since we really haven't done that much here on the Bleeding Edge recently. So we're going to talk some Marvel here. Talk a little bit about the release dates for next year. And, with the shifts all of a sudden next year, now that they finally came out with the casting of Fantastic Four and official release date, both Thunderbolts and Captain America Brave New World have been shifted to counteract that, if you have not seen. Did you guys have quick thoughts on the sequels? Were you in them, Time Cop? Because if you weren't, they're shit. No.
For real, we're about to talk about Marvel, man. Why don't you fucking wake up?
Yeah, Jesus fucking Christ. You wait till now to ask? Good fucking goddamn, Time Cop. Anyways, to answer your question there, Time Cop, I feel that definitely like Chainsaw Massacre 2, 3, Next Generation, the remake in 2003, Beginning, which was a prequel, and then even 3D that came out in 2011. They are all far superior films. They just had better effects, better actors, better writing. So I think that most of them are a lot better films. Texas Chainsaw Massacre Part 2 had Dennis Hopper in it. Drink. I said Texas. So, I mean, compared to this film, they were all a lot better produced films, even though like the stories themselves weren't the greatest, but they, did okay.
I'm with you. Okay.
So yeah. There you go, Time Cop. That's your answer. All right. What are you doing here, sir?
Well, I'm bringing people on the show to talk Marvel.
Oh, okay. You got me confused there.
Surprised me on this shit and whatnot, man. What the fuck? I didn't know we were talking MCU.
Well, who knew that it would be such a short Texas Chainsaw Massacre review, sir? Because it was only such a short movie. You got to bring some more on to keep the live going a little bit longer. Drake. So now that we're shifting away from that film, the new drinking word is going to be marble. So anytime we say marble.
Okay. That's safe.
All right. So like I was saying, the shifting of dates, because Fantastic Four was finally reviewed. Let's talk a little bit about that, about the casting.
Yeah, honestly, Cyber, I wanted to hear what your whole deal is with the casting.
It's the worst casting I've seen of any of the Fantastic Four iterations. I mean, worse than that piece of crap 2016 film, or 2015, whenever it came out. This casting, the only good one I agree with is Vanessa Kirby as Sue Storm. I think she was perfect for the choice. She looks it. She will embody Sue Storm very well because she is a decent actress and I enjoy her. But Pedro Pascal, I'm sorry, is the worst choice for Reed Richards out there. One, Reed Richards is supposed to be like 6'3". Pedro Pascal is like 5'10". Number two, he does not look like Reed Richards. I think this one's another one of those diversity goddamn castings, which I think is the most stupidest thing, especially when you're dealing with Marvel Comics. Oh, drink. Because people are looking for as accurate to the comics as possible. And, so Reed Richards is, a middle-aged white guy in the comics, and Pedro Pascal is a great actor. I think he's a fantastic actor. I just don't see him as Mr. Fantastic. I'm sorry. He just does not embody it, I feel. Now, the other choice, the Thing, is going to be a computer-generated character. So that doesn't really matter. Evan Mock, whatever his name is, I think he should do a decent job with the voice. I mean, that's all he's going to be really doing is that in the kind of the motion capture. So I don't really have a problem with him because the Thing is an all-digital character, just like the Hulk is. So that one I didn't really care for. But Joseph Quinn, I think, is a decent actor. I enjoyed him in Stranger Things. Like, I think he does a pretty decent job. But as Johnny Storm, I just don't see him as Johnny Storm either. I don't think he was a really great choice for that character either. And I don't know if he's that type of person that can be that kind of quick-witted, like, comedian type of person, snarky asshole type character, kind of like Deadpool is, because that's what Johnny Storm is. And I don't see Joseph Quinn being that type of character. So it's going to be interesting to see just what he does with that. Because like I said, I have nothing against his acting. I think he was good in Stranger Things, but I haven't seen him in anything else, so I don't know how he's going to do outside of Stranger Things. But overall,
holding cast again, probably. I'm sure, right? To some capacity. So, I still trust her. I don't know about how you feel about it, Cyber, but I trust her.
Who? Sarah Haley Finn?
Sarah Haley Finn, yes.
Yeah, she's been a good, I think up to a point. In the last, couple of years, I feel that she's kind of slacked a little. But other than that, she's always done a really great job. And I think a lot of the hires, though, I don't know how much of it her influence has been a part of the last couple of years. I don't think she has been as involved in the last couple of years as she has in the past.
We definitely need to I've been wanting to get the book that came out. The Inside the MCU book or whatnot and all that. We need to get that and discuss that at some point and whatnot. But this is a good point. We don't know. I think she probably has fallen off a little bit in terms of her actual control of the casting. And I think it's been delegated out more, by other people. And in general, I think that I agree with you, 100%. I've only seen the actor in Stranger Things. That's it. So, in general, with Pedro Pascal, I'll tell you what, if he's Reed Richards now, he's going to be the highest paid actor, like, in the world of all the shit he's doing, right?
But, I mean, he's going to be paid wealthy, yeah.
I mean, Disney controls The Mandalorian, and this project, right? So they could work the schedules out. Then he's got Last of Us, which I know you and I differ on, like, how much we enjoyed that show. But either way, people are looking forward to the season 2 of that. He has a lot going on. So I imagine they're going to be right to get him to play Reed Richards. You get where I'm going with this. I didn't mean to cut you off. I'm just, pointing out that you know more than I do who these people are that are playing. For instance, the guy that plays the Thing. I'm not familiar with anything about anything he's played in. So, in general, probably at the end of the day, I'm just excited that they actually at least set the casting so we can get the movie, right?
Yeah, let's hope it's not a train wreck, like that last one they did. Because, like I said, the two that they came out with in the early 2000s were decent films. I don't care what anybody says. They were fun. They were well done. They still hold up to this day, almost 20 years later. And I thought they were well casted at the time. I think Mike Chiklis as, the Thing was fantastic. I loved Chris Evans as Johnny Storm. Jessica Alba was probably the weakest, I feel, of the casting for that. She was okay. But I freaking think Ian Grufford was perfect for Mr. Fantastic. He was absolutely great. And he did a fantastic job playing that character. He felt like Reed Richards to me. So, you gotta have a lot of great charisma to play that character. And I because of how good Pedro Pascal is at The Mandalorian and how he's doing really good in Last of Us, I think that he's just going to kind of not do as well with this role as those other roles because I feel they fit him better. Especially in The Mandalorian, because he's really only really doing the voice. And, he's sometimes there in the costume form. And the same thing with Last of Us. That feels more like him. That looks more like him. And, Pedro Pascal as Mr. Fantastic as Reed Richards, he does not come off to me as a smart individual. He's more street smart than fucking intelligent smart.
If I may, at the very least, he already has that natural gray look to him, right? So he does. He already has that streaky gray. He's not as tall as you expect to Reed Richards, right? We've already agreed, you and I don't think most people in the fandom that know the comics at all, that he does not look like Reed at all. Facially. It doesn't work. But in general, we don't know what he could potentially pull off with Reed Richards. He could do a great job. You and I with The Last of Us, right? For instance, I've had different people tell me that they thought that his performance was outstanding. That's what got them into him, right? So, what was it in The Last of Us? I guess that maybe where you don't feel like he can carry that same performance or that impact over into Reed Richards is the intelligent aspect, the pulling off the tech and like the inventive part, right? Is that sort of what it is?
No. Partially it is that. Last of Us, he's perfect for. He's great in in The Last of Us. It's the rest of the story I don't care for in Last of Us, not him. I don't care for the stupid Bella bitch. I think she's fucking stupid as fuck. And I absolutely hate that he's not more focused in that movie or show. But no, he is the type of characters he usually plays, how he plays them. He plays them perfectly if they have something up his alley. The type of characters I've seen him play that he plays the best are street smart characters, not sophisticated, smart people that invent shit. And so in Fantasy 4, that does not come off well or correlate to what Reed Richards is. You know, because you could play characters well. Yes, he's an actor. He possibly could do decent. But at the same time, I still don't think that he will have the same caliber that will as he does in those other shows to play Reed Richards. Because look at his performance as the fucking villain in Wonder Woman 2, which you have not seen.
You're right.
He was absolutely horrible as that character. Absolutely horrible. And that character was supposed to be super smart. And he did not do well with super smart.
That makes sense. You're right. I didn't see Wonder Woman 2.
So, like I said, he's really good at like street smart characters, which is what like Last of Us is. His Mandalorian character is. They're not about intelligence; they're about street smarts. And so, those type of characters, if Reed Richards was that type of character, I think he'd be okay at. He would be decent. But people that would be more better at that, I think, would do a better job. And I think because he's going to be overused so much because he's doing Last of Us, doing Mandalorian, doing the Mando film that's supposed to come out in 2025.
Real.
Or 2026.
I forgot about the film too. You're right.
Yeah. He's not going to be in his top form to play Reed Richards and give his best performance because he is going to be so fucking overworked. And I absolutely think that, like I said, in the casting situation, there are far superior people that could have done, I think, be a better choice for the character. And like I said, I have nothing against his acting. I think he's a decent actor. He does a decent job in anything else I've seen him in. But overall, that casting just does not make sense because you want your characters, when you're casting your characters, you want them to have some of those traits along with the look to go along with it. And he just, when you look at him, I do not see Reed Richards. Just because he has fucking gray hair going on already does not make him Reed Richards. And if that's one of the reasons why they picked him, I think that's a horrible casting choice just because he already has that gray going.
I'm with you. I think at the end of the day, what it's going to boil down to is we don't know the story yet, or the storyline of how things are going to play out in this, even in this Fantastic Four film, right? We know some of the components. We've heard, it's been rumored heavily that the villain is going to be one of Galactus's, acolytes, right? Not Silver Surfer, but a female version of her, of him. And at that point, I think that these actors and actresses that were brought in for the casting, it's interesting to be Cyber because I had a chance to talk to you about it. But remember in Secret Invasion, we mentioned that at some point there'd be a point where certain actors and actresses would not be just willing to sign on the bottom line with Marvel.
What, Drake?
Drake. That would reach a level where certain actors and actresses would just say, you know what, I'm going to wait a little bit, or maybe I'm not going to take this role with this, to be a part of this whole brand. That, well, you thought I was going to make a streak again right there. But no, I thought that we reached a point where the brand would not work anymore to that degree. I think we're there. I do. Right? Because honestly, it shouldn't have been this hard for them to cast this movie and cast this team. And even the actress for Sue Storm, if you want to believe the rumors from legitimate sources off Twitter, right? And, you know, the YouTube scape, she personally held off from signing her contract with Marvel Studios. Oh, Drake.
Yep.
Regardless, it had nothing to do with the strikes. It was the settling of the cast, right? Was her concern. It's rumored. Who else was going to be part of the team? So we already know that from The Walking Dead, Stephen Yao dropped out from Thunderbolts, right? To play what would have been a really potentially big time character. That would have been a, you know, sort of a secondary villain in the Thunderbolts because of scheduling conflicts. Now this guy is not like, you know, Bruce Willis here, right? He was in The Walking Dead, and he was Glenn. He was the reason why, like, literally, I stopped watching The Walking Dead because I knew he was going to die. I didn't want to watch the shit, so I stopped watching. Bottom line, we're seeing that level. Would you agree? Where the brand's not carrying it anymore with the acting and actresses, you know, type deal.
It hasn't been like that for the last 3 or 4 years, I feel.
What do you think then with Dakota Johnston and, you know, Madam Web, which you saw and I haven't, right?
She was horrible casting. All she is eye candy.
That's what I heard was that it was she was flat dead in the film.
She's not horrible. She's not the worst I've seen, but she's definitely is very even tone throughout the whole entire film. Yes.
So in general, we did Echo, right? We covered that.
No, we didn't.
We did. With glowy hands, remember? Glowy hands. And Grandma got the juice. You remember?
Yeah, I remember.
Hot D.
There you go. Grandma got the juice, baby. But no, we reviewed Echo, and what I wanted to ask you was, do you feel like Echo was the end of the bullshit? Marvel Studios, maybe finally. Oh, Drake.
Yep. No, I don't think it's the end.
No?
No. Because from my understanding, Captain America Brave New World has gone through several rewrites because of how much that it was leaning on other stuff prior that was very woke. And, you know, unfortunately, you know, a lot of it had to be redone. And I'm surprised that it even got pushed up to February with how many reshoots and how badly the test scores did. So I don't think we're done. I think that maybe Captain America Brave New World will be the final step of maybe getting back into the process of making decent Marvel films. Thunderbolts, I think, is going to be fantastic. And I think that, you know, Fantastic Four is going to be interesting. Matt Shakeman directing it. I'm looking forward to that aspect. I'm not looking forward to the casting. And I'm hoping it's at least that grade level as those two from 2000s were and enjoyable. You know, I'm not very optimistic about it because of just how badly they did the last one and just how poorly they have done with the movies that should have been really good that were mediocre. You know, a lot of the films that were considered horrible, I think were super fun, which are films I think that, you know, the general audience is like, oh, it's too much comedy and this kind of shit. And I'm like, well, I'd rather have that than it be poorly casted. And, you know,
the Marvels was actually entertaining.
Yes, and it was well casted. Same thing with Ant-Man Quantumania. Very entertaining as well and great casting of more of the past decent actors and actresses that I think provide a decent entertainment.
Well, you know, my only issues with Ant-Man 3 were just how they divided the screen time. That's all it was.
Yep. And, you know, I want to have high hopes for Fantastic Four, but because of how poor the casting is to me, you know, I'm going in with a very, very, very small little percentage of hope for it. Because of just how long it took them to come up with the casting. I mean, if this has been the casting in progress since they started talking about putting out this film, I definitely have worries about it. Because if this is the cast that you've been looking at now for the last 5 years that they've been talking about this film, you know, and you're finally just saying who the casting is, that puts up red flags for me. Because if you think about it, you look at the other films, majority of the time, it was at least a year or two before the movie came out that they gave you the casting right away. And they told you, okay, this is who's going to do this, who's going to do this. And you could see how well they were casted. Hence why I keep saying that I don't think Sarah Haley Finn has been a part really of the casting very hard in the last couple of years. And hence why we've had these horrible bad villains in a lot of the films. So I don't know if she just is not into it so much anymore or what, but if you look up Sarah Haley Finn, she has been the casting director for not just Marvel, but several other films over the years that are not even Marvel related. So she's a busy woman. So it's not like, you know, it's
we've been trophying her for a minute, Cyber.
Yeah. So
we've been seeing her for a long time.
Yeah. So that's my thoughts on the Fantastic Four casting. I'm happy that we get in 3 movies next year. That's great. I'm glad that we're, you know, because we're only getting the one this year, so they're trying to make up next year. I'm assuming if they did that, I'm assuming that Blade got pushed to 2026 because they still haven't got it confirmed on that yet. So hopefully
that's another whole fucking bullshit conversation.
Yeah. So yeah, let's play this DP3 trailer.
Seriously, brah. Let me just stock my drink. If we're gonna talk about, I'm not gonna say it. Hey to you.
All right, okay. It's been a challenging few years, for sure, but I'm happy. That is because of each and every one of you. I'm the luckiest man alive.
Make a wish, buddy.
Wade Wilson? Who's asking? Whoa, 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 whoa. Is that supposed to be scary? Pegging isn't new for me, friendo, but it is for Disney.
Nice.
Mr. Wilson, you appear to have soiled yourself while unconscious.
I wasn't unconscious. Who are you? Why am I here?
Walk with me.
Wait.
You are special. This is your chance
To be a hero among heroes.
Right?
I smell what you're stepping in, Sensei. Your little cinematic universe is about to change forever. I'm the Messiah. I am Marvel Jesus.
God, please! Oh my God!
God, I love this part.
Wait!
That what the fuck is so silent, so quick?
Don't just stand there, you ape. Give me a hand up. Nope, I'm actually okay. Thank you very much.
I think it's hilarious that it got changed from Deadpool 3 to Deadpool and Wolverine.
Great title. I like it.
And the look of it looks really fantastic. I like the color scheme and everything. It looks really awesome. And that trailer is so fantastic. I was cracking up when I saw that the TVA was going to be a part of it. And the freaking wig is absolutely freaking hilarious. Oh, my God. I laughed so hard at that.
The Peggy thing connects back to the first Deadpool film.
Yep. Absolutely hilarious. This movie looks like it's going to be really good. It looks like, Reynolds did his best to get the best out of it, even though Disney was like screwing him every which way but Sunday. When it came to certain things like that, I mean, he fought it hard to get it the best he could.
He seems like a really with it fucking dude, like somebody you want to fucking like play a drink game with, right?
Yep. Especially at Marvel Studios. Oh, drink.
Oh my God. Isn't our actual fucking entire brand based off Marvel Studios ever?
Oh, drink again. Mm-hmm. I think so. But yeah, I mean, great trailer. I absolutely loved it. This is probably my 20th time watching it because it's so freaking awesome. Seeing Pyro every single time too in the trailer cracks me up. I'm like, holy shit, Aaron looks old as shit. I'm like, holy shit. So what would make it even better is if Aaron Ashmore popped up as Iceman, or if they had fucking what's her face pop up as Rogue again, and any of those other characters from those.
If that version of Rogue comes back, all right, I'm telling you right now, I'm gonna have to give her 5 daddy sticks from True Knowledge, all right, because of her fucking goddamn Texas Chainsaw Massacre, goddamn acting performance as Rogue in the X-Men films was so fucked up. It's not fair. How can the goddamn Rogue in the animated series be better than the live action fucking version? It's pathetic. So you know what? Fuck you. You fucking became a man, asshole, whatever the fuck you are that played Rogue. 5 daddy smacks for you, bitch. Take it.
Yeah, Anna Paquin is not the greatest actress. So
I will smack your ass.
She's another one that she's just pretty much eye candy. So
I saw her on Craig Ferguson one time. She likes dick, Cyber. She ain't no dude.
Well, no. She's married to Stephen Meyer that was in True Blood with her.
Yeah, she ain't no dude.
Yeah. But she has come out saying that she is bi.
No, that's Anna Paquin. I'm talking about right?
Anna Paquin played Rogue.
I'm talking about that was Anna Paquin?
Yeah.
Oh, my bad.
Who the fuck you think I'm talking about?
I like Anna Paquin. True Blood, baby.
We were just talking about Rogue from the live action films.
Drink games are fucking me up, bro. What do you want me to say?
Yeah, I don't get how you're so fucked up and I'm not. It makes no sense, sir.
Sir, it's the combination of the weed and ganja of the alcohol, I believe.
Let's hope.
Either way, if I may respond on Deadpool, can I ask you, sir, do you feel like Deadpool 3 is, an important film for the MCU? Something that, if you don't believe Echo was the end of the bullshit, do you think it has the capability, as we talked about personally, to crack that 1 billion mark, really spark the MCU again, kind of bring us back to some quality again?
100%. And I think that's the direction that Deadpool is supposed to go. Deadpool is supposed to be kind of the reset like the Flash was for DC last year. It's supposed to be a reset of the MCU from all the crap that we've had in the last couple of years, to kind of reset the boundaries. That's why the TVA is involved in this film and so forth. And that's kind of what the speculation is with a lot of these YouTubers that have been talking about this Deadpool 3, is that it's supposed to kind of be like how the Flash was supposed to reset everything. This film is supposed to reset the current timeline and everything for the new stuff, because of getting rid of Kang and the Jonathan Majors version and everything that happened in Loki and so forth, with him becoming that new kind of like end of time person and stuff like that. Basically all of that. They're trying to intersect those lines so that they all become one cohesive storyline. And so Deadpool 3, a lot of these people are saying their thought process is that this is going to be kind of the Flash, like I said, and reboot the timeline for Marvel.
Most definitely. And I don't know what to call what Loki is either. Right now, like I don't know what that is. That whole thing that happened at the end of the finale there, the tree Loki shit or whatever. But honestly, Cyber, that was all I had, sir. If you want to cut us out so we can do plugs, you're gonna force me to have to lift myself now to the bar. So thank you, sir.
Lift yourself to the bar, sir.
Thank you for getting me so drunk that I have to go to the fucking lift. Uber and shit.
I didn't get you drunk, sir. You did that to yourself. Anywho, you're the one that picked rum and coke, sir. Anyway,
you're right. I did.
So that is the end of this episode of the Bleeding Edge, folks. We're gonna turn it over to Mr. TrueKnowledge himself, do plugs, and get the hell out of here.
Oh my god, folks. The your game concept sounds awesome to me at first, but now I'm not regretting that. I'm loving it. I'm just getting drunk. All right, Cyberneticshark, sir, my friend, veteran content creator, veteran YouTuber, co-host MCU'S Bleeding Edge, legend, best friend, good ass guy, massage parlor potential victim. What do you get to say, sir?
How's it going out there, folks? So, like, if you enjoyed my moderating or you enjoy me on the panel here on the MCU's Bleeding Edge, you can check out my solo content under Cyberneticshark. You find me on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, X, pretty much anywhere, that there's social media. You can definitely check that out. And as you can see here, I'm at 734 still. My most recent, of course, is Saltburn the Film review. I just put up a couple shorts today, one of Madam Web and one of Copland the film from 1997, which was a really good film. And you can check those out. Those are my most recent little
Copland, good movie.
And just keep supporting us, keep getting us to that magic number. Me and Mr. Andres is trying to get to magic 1,000 mark. So keep on, subscribing if you haven't. Share us or let people know about us so that they can subscribe to us. I'll be having more content up for you guys soon, with some more reviews and more trailer reactions and all that kind of good stuff. And just trucking along. Hopefully the scheduling of product will get a little better for you guys as time comes up.
Well, Cyber, my friend, I can tell you that we're going to be offering very soon big league level YouTube shit, like an actual PS3, type deal. All right.
PS3, Jesus Christ.
PS1, PS57, whatever Time Lord, whatever dimension he's in. We're going to go in that spot, sir, to start literally getting after it and making sure that you get to that 1,000 mark, sir. It's going down. Yeah. You deserve it. Your moderation, sir, is the same par as that chick that raised the window. There we go.
There we go.
I'm joking, sir. Cyberneticshark is a veteran content creator and YouTuber, a good friend of mine. Great job tonight, Cyber. Appreciate you, bro.
Appreciate you, bro.
Raven, we love you. Josh, we love you. Kelly, what's up? Everybody in the comment section, we appreciate you. God bless you. MCU'S Bleeding Edge is kicking ass very soon. Next week, we have Monday of the MCU'S Bleeding Edge report with Andres, the pop culture guy, and myself. A prequel or a preview, not prequel, preview, the game drinking game again to the Rick and Michonne, the last those who live, along with S197 on Monday night at 10 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. Pacific. Wednesday, we have, I believe, Cyber, Superman versus the Elite. We have a big ass panel. A lot of folks on it. A lot of fun. Drinking game on, as far as I know. We getting after it. Next Friday, I believe it's Deja Vu. That's where we're at. No, John Wick.
No, John Wick.
This Friday, big ass panel. Same thing. We have a huge panel for John Wick. Andre's Time Cop, Time Lord, Bat, whatever the fuck, Bat Cop, whatever the fuck. We'll be back. He'll be there for that. Yeah, there you go. He'll be there for that. With a big panel for that. So tune in. God bless y'all. We'll see you next time. We love all of you. Thank you for the support. If you're new to us, please, consider ringing the bell so you can see when we're live, so you can see shit like this.
He dedicates 8 hours a day role-playing as a toddler.
I'm in baby mode on and off all day.
And just his daddy.